Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
A whole bunch of people sent me this story about a golf event, and I'm not a golfer. I'll admit it. I've only shot a couple rounds in my entire life, and I've also hit a couple buckets of balls at a driving range. To me, that was more fun, but I just never got into golf. And I know people are saying, wait, Steve, you're an attorney. Didn't they teach you that in law school? It's weird. There are a lot of attorneys who golf, but not all of us. So from Golf Digest, Coleman Bentley wrote this. Arkansas man suing country club after they refused to give him the truck they promised as a hole-in-one prize. So occasionally you'll hear about different contests they do at golf courses, and once in a while they'll have the old hole-in-one prize. And they'll often pick a hole and say, if anybody hits a hole-in-one on this hole during this tournament today, they will win a prize. And I've seen it where it's a large cash prize. I've seen it where it's a vehicle, and occasionally they'll have the vehicle on display there. And, so apparently what happened is what you guessed, but we wonder now, how did this happen? So Coleman Bentley says, buckle up, folks. We have a hole-in-one car controversy brewing in Arkansas. This week, a man from Conway by the name of Austin Claggett filed a lawsuit against Morrilton Country Club, and the man had played in the club's Tournament of the Century on Saturday. Now, that was a three-person scramble format with a buy-in of $375. So you got to pay to get into the tournament, $375, and it's a three-person scramble. And I know what that means, and I'm assuming you do too. But it's teams of three, and the way it works is the three of you tee off, and whoever has the better shot, the three of you then get to hit from there. And so it makes the game go a little bit faster than it would otherwise with just simply three-person teams, or they're playing against each other singularly. Before the tournament, Morrilton Country Club promoted a 2022 Ford F-150 4x4 Super Crew as a prize for the first person to hit a hole-in-one of the course's 10th hole, if in fact one got hit that day, because one might not get hit, in which case the prize would go unclaimed. That truck had a sticker price of $53,595 and was apparently and allegedly donated by a nearby Ford dealership. And so everybody thought, well, hey, that's cool. We'll see what happens. So against all odds, Claggett went out and aced the 10th hole-in-one. According to reports, it was a good, clean ace. Didn't happen on a provisional, didn't happen out of turn. This one was actually an authentic, letter of the law, hole-in-one. When Claggett went to claim his new ride after the round, however, Morrilton Country Club wouldn't turn over the keys. They said, there's a slight issue here, you don't get the truck. Now, Claggett's lawyer issued the following statement on behalf of his client. So he can talk. He's not going to decline comment here. This is about doing what is right. Mr. Claggett lived up to his end of the deal when he got the hole-in-one, and by the way, paid $375. And now Morrilton Country Club and J. Hodge Ford of Morrilton want to crawfish out of the deal. They didn't want to pay up when Mr. Claggett got a hole-in-one. They shouldn't have offered the deal. Now, I've never heard of crawfish as a verb, and apparently it's a thing. So I know what a crawfish is. I know what that is. But to say that somebody wants to crawfish out of the deal, but I got to admit, I immediately know what he's saying. He's basically saying they want to slink out of the deal in an unseemly manner. So in Arkansas, when someone says you want to crawfish, you know that someone else means business. They're saying that about you. That's Coleman Bentley again, editorializing. J. Hodge Ford says they were unable to secure the necessary insurance for the vehicle in time because they believed the vehicle was for display purposes only. Without their knowledge, the country club promoted the pickup as a hole-in-one prize, perhaps thinking no one would actually make a hole-in-one, a decision which has now backfired spectacularly. Where this goes from here is anybody's guess, but it sure sounds like somebody somewhere is going to owe Claggett a new whip. Now, there's a couple things going on here. And the dealership says they couldn't obtain the necessary insurance. Now, you might think a dealership getting insurance for a vehicle is like just car insurance or truck insurance, right? Well, what may be going on here and I don't know whether it be the dealership on the hook or the country club on the hook. We have to see more of the advertising materials to figure that out. But if you ever see a properly run hole-in-one contest, and they run these all the time, quite often it's a cash prize. I know golf clubs that would actually have a rolling pot where the money would just go into the pot every day. And then if somebody gets the hole-in-one, they get all the money in the pot and it resets. And they put money in based on how many people have gone by, or people can put money into the pot to say, I'm willing to pay this, play this game if I get the hole-in-one. But quite often, it's also the same with the half-court free throw shots in basketball. Or I suppose it could even be the hockey shot from the midline trying to score a goal with a puck. Although I've never seen a really huge prize offered in that, but I suppose it could be done. But what you do is you're having a competition of some sort, whether it's basketball or golf or something, and you give somebody a shot at something which in normal life would be like 1 in a million, or less than that, but a real random, unusual thing to happen if you actually made the shot. And there are companies out there that will issue you, in essence, an insurance policy that says if this person hits that shot or makes whatever they got to do and succeeds in winning the prize, we will pick that up and pay for it. And that's an insurance policy, or it depends what you want to call it. But these things get issued by people, and there are companies out there that specialize in this. I've seen articles on this, I've read about this, and I actually talked to a guy who did this. And he said they've got the numbers out there. They can calculate this stuff out. And actuarial science is actually fascinating when people sit down and try to figure out what the odds are of things happening in real life. What are the odds something's going to happen? What are the odds you'll get hit by a car tomorrow or struck by lightning on Thursday? Those things can be calculated out, not to predict the future, but to protect the person who's putting up the prize money. So if it's a 1 in a million shot and the prize is $1 million, somebody will back that and say, yeah, we'll pay that. They're not going to charge $1 million for it. They're going to charge a very, very small fraction because they know the odds are that it's not going to happen. And if they sell enough of these policies to enough companies, when somebody does hit it, well, they've made enough money on the ones that didn't hit that they still profit from this. So the question is, was the dealership supposed to put that up to protect themselves in case they lost the truck? Or was the golf club supposed to put it up to protect themselves and they'd be on the hook for the cost of the vehicle? Interesting thing here is we're talking about $55,000, $53,595, so almost $54,000. So it's not $1 million you got to back up here. It's a $54,000 prize. And so somebody out there would know, with this many people in the field on any given day, what are the odds that one of them will hit a hole-in-one on one particular hole? And somebody could have crunched the numbers on that and put the money up and bought the policy to cover them for that. So when it says here that the dealership couldn't secure the necessary insurance for the vehicle in time, it also says because they believe the vehicle is for display purposes only. So that's kind of conflicting statements there, because what insurance are they talking about? Just to drive it to and from the dealer, the golf course? So you'd have to go back and look. But whoever took the $375 from the golfers, if they handed something to you or had something on display that induced you to give that money to them that said, by the way, today, during the tournament of the century, if you get a hole-in-one in the 10th, you win this truck. If that was promoted by the country club, I suspect they're going to be on the hook for that. Sad part is this man's probably got to pay this attorney some money and or split it with the attorney on a contingency basis just to get what he's entitled to. So we do not know what the country club's defense to this is going to be, because it could be it wasn't a real contest, or it could be we thought the dealership was putting up the truck for free advertising, or it could be we were hoping to put the truck up after we bought one of those policies. We couldn't get the policy in time. And two of those three point back to the country club right away. And if they're going to blame this on the dealership, they got to come up with something good to explain why a third party owes somebody a truck for a promise they made. So we'll see what happens, but it's in Arkansas. So the man was accusing the other of trying to crawfish out of a deal. I might work that into my daily vocabulary. So I'm going to court one day. It's, Your Honor, defendants are trying to crawfish out of this. The judge is going to look at them and go, is that true? You guys trying to crawfish out of this? Next thing you know, everyone in Oakland County, Michigan is saying it. From Golf Digest, Coleman Bentley wrote it, and please update the story when you get more, sir. I appreciate that. Arkansas man suing Country Club after they refused to give him the truck they promised as a hole-in-one prize because the man aced the 10th hole at the tournament of the century. And thanks to everyone who sent it, including Clifford, Scott, Mark, Jonathan, Dale, Glenn, and Chris. Questions and comments, put them below. Otherwise, talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. Problems are not stop signs, they are guidelines.